Hello everyone. So in last class, we did till here C++ operators we have checked in the last class. Now we will be seeing the booleans values. Okay. So what are boolean variants? A boolean variable is declared with the bool keyword and can only take the values true or false. For example, bool is coding equals to true. If you will be printing this is coding, so it will print 1. In last class, we have seen how we can print a variable, right? For now, let's move ahead. Boolean expression. A Boolean expression returns a Boolean value that is either 1, true, or 0, false. This is useful to build logic and find answers. For example, suppose you have two variables a and b. A equals to 5 and b equals to 10. Now you have to print a less than b. So this is a statement like expression, right? So it will print whether it is true or false. So for true, it will return 1 and for false, it will return 0. Okay. So let's move. Now we will be seeing C++ conditions. There are four conditions: if, else if, and switch conditions. Okay. So let's see one by one. If statement. Use the if statement to specify a block of C++ code to be executed if a condition is true. So this is the syntax for if statement. What is if condition? There is some condition. If a condition is true, then we'll be executing the code between these two curly braces. Okay. So let's write. Let's see an example for this. Okay. Okay. So here I have defined two variables. Int a equals to 5, int b equals to 10. So let's write if condition. What was the condition if? It was this. If in square brackets there were condition. Okay. So if a less than b. If this is true, then we have to print. For print, what we use? Cout. Okay. So this cout less value. Okay. So let's check whether it prints or not. Now, how to execute this in VS Code? So, friend, open your terminal. From here, you can open in terminal, new. Okay. So, you just write here G++, your file name basics.cpp, then run it. When it will be successfully run, you just need to write ./a.exe. Now see, less value. That means a is less than 5. Yeah, a is less than 5. If a is true, this condition is true. That's why it is printed like this. Okay. Now, what if the condition is not true? Then what we'll be doing? So there is one more statement which is called else statement. So after if condition, there is a else block which is executed if condition is false. If this condition is false, then only this else blocks will be executed. So let's check. Okay. So here, if it is true, then fine. Else, what I will be doing? Else I will be doing cout more value. Okay. So let's try. Okay, let's do one thing. I will take this both variable as input. I'm defining int a comma b. In this way also I can define two variables continuously. Then I will be telling c input a b, cout, enter two values. And this handle, I haven't told you about the handle. This handle is used for line break. What is line break? I will explain you later. So let's run this file again. And again for execution, I will be executing in this way. Now it is asking enter two values. Let's enter two values. 5, one more value, 10. Enter. Now see less value. Again I am executing it. I am writing 10 and then 5. It is more value. So see, is A less than B? No, because I have given 10. So A is not less than B. That's why the else condition is executed. Now suppose we have multiple statements. So multiple conditions. So else if statement, condition 1, else if condition 2, else third statement. Okay. So let's check. Let's write two statements. If A less than B, then print more. Else if one more condition, A greater than B. Sorry, I have written less. Here I have to write less. And here I have to print more. And I already told you for completion of each and every line we have to use semicolons again. Else if both are equal then print C out. If not like less than, not more, greater than, then it will be equal, right? So let's write equal. So let's see. These are three statements. First I have to run, sorry. Now I am executing. I have to print two values 10 and 5. It is more, means A is more than 5, B. Again I am executing 5 comma 6. It is less. Again I am executing 5 5. It is equal. So I hope the both statements are clear to you all. Now ternary operator. There is also a shorthand if else which is known as the ternary operator because it consists of three operands. It can be used to replace multiple lines of code with a single line. It is often used to replace simple of else statement. For example, it is same as the if else statement. Here we can use like this. Condition. This question mark represents if true, then we have to write the expression true. Whatever we have to execute for this, then false, then write the expression false. Okay, so let's check. Now here I will be checking A greater than B. If it is, then I will print more, else I will print less. So let's write two values 10 and 5. More. See, it is working as same as the if else statement. Again, let me execute 5 comma 10. Now it is printing less. I hope it is clear to you all. Now let's move ahead. Then we have a switch statement. Use of switch statement to select one or more code block to be executed. Like if you have similar expression, you want to work on the similar variable, then you can use these statements, right? Now let's move. How can we use the switch statements? Let's check. Okay, now let's set the text one variable int a. Okay, I will be taking it as input. Okay. Now we have to write switch statement, right? So switch is same as so switch statement. It is same as we have if statement. Suppose we have five conditions. Now what will we doing? First if, then else if, then else if. Oh sorry, else if, then again else if, then again else if. So this is in this way we'll be using for five. Okay. Now what if we have switch? Now the switch gives us a choice that suppose we have a switch statement and there is a some expression and we can apply different cases here. We can apply different cases here. Okay. So let's move. Let's write switch statement. A. I am writing on A. Now case wait. Let me show you the syntax again. Like, look at here. Switch, there is the some expression, then case X, case Y, and default. And we have to use break everywhere after execution of that particular statement. So let's write the case A equals to 5. See, just look at here. Okay, so in this way we can write the cases. Let me show you on Google about this example more. You can check everything from W3 school. W3 school C++. From here you can check each and everything about the theory you want to read and all. We are checking the switch statement. So look at here, code blocks and all. This is like this. Okay, so let's take a good example. Suppose we have someone told you to print on that according to that. First one is, if someone give you input about 1, then you have to do this. If someone gave you input 2, then you have to do this. If someone gave you input 3, then do this, and etc, etc. So what you will be doing in if statements, like I told, take any variable, take a variable x, okay, and if x equals to 1, what you have to do? You have to do addition of a and b. If x equals to 2, you have to do subtraction. If x equals to 3, you have to do multiplication. If x equals to 4, you have to do division. Okay, so let's see it if first of all using the sheet first, initially using our if else statement. Okay, so let's see now how we'll be writing. If x equals to 1, I have to do something. If else, if x equals to 2, I have to do something. Then else, if x equals to 3, I have to do something. And else, if x equals to 4, I have to do something. Or if else, then we have to do something more. So let's check. Okay, so this is using, here we can do addition, here we can write the code for subtraction, multiplication, division, and then for else statement, if none of these are there, then we'll be telling them you have done the wrong input. Now how we'll be doing the same using the switch statement? Now see, we have to write this much of things. Now let's check for the switch statement how we'll be doing. Now let's see. We have to take what I told. We have to take one variable int x. See input x. Now we have to write a switch statement. So this is switch on which we are applying switch. We are applying switch on x. Okay. Now case what? If x equals to 1, then we have to do cout addition. Okay. Then we have to break it as well. What will happen if we don't break? I will show you later. Now case 2. For this, we have to do subtraction. Again, we have to break. Then case 3. We have to do multiplication. Now case 4, we have to do division. Okay, now let's again break this statement. Then we have one more statement that is default. This is executed when none of the case executed. So in default statement, I will be print wrong input. Okay, again break. So no need to break here. Small. Let's first execute it. Run it. I'm running it. No error. Now let's execute. It's just asking for the input. Let me give you 2. I'm printing subtraction. So see, 2 is subtraction. Now let's again execute it. Let me give you 5. It is printed wrong input. Again execute it. Let me give it 4. It is printed. Give it division. Now what if we don't use the break statements? Let's comment. Let's comment all the break statements. Now let's again run it. No errors. Then execute it. Suppose I have given the input 3. Now look, it is printed multiplication division wrong input because when it came here, see out multiplication, there was a variable which telling that yeah, we have to print or not. So it's printed. After that, it's printed all the statements because we cannot come out of it. So that's why we will be using break after each and every cases, because it will else it will print other cases as well. Okay. So what is break? I will explain it later more. What is break? Now let's say use the same. Now see, it is printing multiplication, but before it is was printing the multiplication, division, and long input one. Okay, so this is what switch statement is. Now let's to go. Let's move towards C++ loops. What does loop means? First, let's learn. See here. So let's suppose I want to tell you in this way. Suppose I am telling you uh, print numbers from 1 to 100. Now, how will you do in till now what you have learned from this? You will write cout statement and will write like this: cout 1, then cout 2. If you know the number, then you can do. But what if I am telling you print number from 1 to till x, and x is given by the user? Then how you will do this? How can you print it? You will write the if conditions, like if x if x not equals to this, then print. This you can do, but it is not the solution. Now there is a loop. Loop is like, if you want to print some statement multiple times, then we use the loop. Okay, so loop is like, there is three types of loop. First is for loop, then while loop, then do while. While and do while are looks similar type. So let's first look at towards for loop. Now for loop, how it is looks like, the do while loop is a variant of a while loop. This loop will execute the code block once. Okay, let's first see this. Okay, for initializing conditions. So this is the syntax for loop. For, there is some initializing, then condition, then increment, decrement, then code block to be executed if condition is true. Now what if there was like at for loop, we use for loop like print this from 10 times. So I will tell print from 1 to 10. Okay, so it will run 10 times only. This loop will run 10 times. But how this loop will know till how many times I have to run? So for this, in for loop, there are four parts, three parts, sorry. So let's see, it's three parts first. This is for loop. There are three parts, and these parts are divided between two semicolons. This first part is initialization. This second part is condition. And this third part is increment, yeah, decrement. Okay. So what this initialization is, like we will be defining some variable and we will initialize that variable here. Like I am defining a variable I and I am initializing it with 0 here. Now some condition till where you have to be to reach here. So this is condition be like I less than something, suppose 10. Now we have to increase this I because I have want to execute it 10 times only. So for this there is an operator I plus plus. This I plus plus operator is same as plus plus operator, like writing it as I equals to I plus 1. It increment I by 1. Similar to I plus plus, we have I minus minus as well. This do decrement of I by 1. I minus 1. So now let's see the code for this. Okay. Let's write a for statement. For this, let's take an example that I told to print numbers from 1 to n, and n is given by user. So let's take a variable n. Let's take a variable n, and this n is given by user. So let's take it input, and then we have to write for statement. So there is a for statement. There are three parts between two semicolons. Okay. The first part is initialization. Now, what we have to initialize a variable. So let's define a variable here only. Int I equals to 0. I am defined a variable I and initialized it with 0. Now we have to print numbers from 1 to n, right? So let's first initialize it with 0. Then we'll be seeing whether we have a issue or not. So we have a condition that till n. So if I started, suppose if I started from 0, 0, and I have to reach till 10, but I have to print from 1 to 10, right? And so I have to start from 1 only. So first of all, the first thing is uh, I have to start from 1. So int I equals to 1. Now what will the condition till where we have to stop? There will be some condition, right? Till where we have to stop. So let's see. The condition is now this. First, what will happen? I will now let me just before going to the problem, let me explain you something more how this for loop work. So what will happen when you will come in this for loop first time, right? But this statement executed only once. This statement executed once when you reach the for loop first time. So first the when you reach first time, so it will initialize I with 0. Now what will happen? I is 0. It will execute the code. It will check the condition whether 0 is less than 10. It is true, right? Then it will execute the code which is written inside these curly brackets. Okay. Then what will happen? We will increment I. Again we will check the condition. After increment I become 1. Then we check the condition is 1 less than 10. Yeah, true. So it will print, it will execute the statement, executed here. Like again, it will execute the statement. Then again, we will increment the I, then I equals to 2. So same way, what will happen here? int I equals to 1, then we will be right I less than equals to 10. So till 10 we have to go, right? And then I plus plus. So I will print C out I. So let me give you input. Okay. So for now I have just printed till 10. I'm uses the static data, but I have to use n right here till n I have to print. So let's again run it. Now let me execute. Output give the input 10. It will execute it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now what happened here? Here, it just first of all, it printed 1. Then it incremented I by 1. So it I become 2. It again check the condition whether 2 is less than equals to n. Yeah, it's true. Then it is again printed 2. In this way, the for loop works. I hope it is clear. Now let's move ahead. C++ while loop. The while loop loops through a block of code as long as specified condition is true. So this is the condition. Till this condition is true, we'll be using the while loop. Now let's see an example for this. So the syntax is while there will be some condition and this. Same question I will be solving using while loop. We have to print variables. So let me define one variable outside only. Int I equals to 1. Okay. Now I have to print variables till where? Till I reach I less than equals to till I is less than equals to 10. Right? Or I can say till I is less than equals to n. Now let's print the statement C out I. Now in for loop, there were three cases, right? Initialization. The initialization part we did here. Initialization. Now what about the condition and the increment? Now the condition we written here, we haven't done the increment. So for increment, we will be doing it at last. Now I am incrementing my I here, I plus plus. So what happened here? I equals to 1 initialization, then we condition, then I plus plus. Then again it will jump to 8 statement. Again it will check whether I is less than equals to n or not. Then if it is true, then it will execute, else it will come out of the loop. Let me first run it. No errors. Then we can execute. I'm giving the input 5. So see, it's printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, fine. Let's move towards another for loop, do while loop. Now what does do while loop? The do while loop is a variant of a while loop. This loop will execute the code block once before checking if the condition is true. Then it will repeat the loop as long as the condition is true. Let's check. Okay. What does it taught? Let's write what is the first, let's check the syntax. Syntax is we write do and then write the conditions. Okay. Let's check. What it is telling do, we will be printing C out I. Okay. Now we write condition here while I less than equals to n. Okay. Now let's run it. What will happen? So it is printing. Oh, we haven't incremented the I, so we have to do it I plus plus. That's why it's just printed and it become the infinite loop because the condition is always true. See, for now it's just printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what will happen if I just give it as input 0? It's still printed 1. But if it is not the case, if I have on the place of this, if I have used a while loop, while I less than equals to n, C out I plus plus. Now let's see. Let me again execute it. Again, then let's give the input 0. See, it doesn't print it. But in do while loop, what happened? It will print once, then it will check the condition. But in while loop, first it check the condition, then it prints. But in do while loop, it first print, then it check the conditions. Okay. So I hope it is clear. So what is break? Now we were seeing the break in two statements, that is in switch we have seen the break, right? So the break statement used to jump out of loop. Suppose I told, okay, you have a loop, you are writing in this way, 1 to 10 100 whatever it is. Now I don't want to do this. I want to be like, okay, I told I want to run an infinite loop. For entire infinite loop, this condition should be always be true, right? The condition is always be true. Let me just show you. Let's see. Uh, do- It's suppose see it's just printing values because it's become the infinite loop because it is condition is always true. But I told you have to use the condition true always. But when you have to just print the number still n only. Now what you can do, if let's before printing you just have to check if if I is greater than n, means if the I is greater than n, I just have to come out of this loop. So we use break statement for that case. It will break the loop. So let's see again. Sorry, I'm running. Then I'm executing it at 10. So see, it's just printed till 10 because when the I becomes 11, it break. It's run the break statement. That means it come out of the loop. The loop all has been break. Now what? I told, now what? Now I am telling, okay, do one thing. You print all the values except 5 from 1 to 10. So that means I equals to if I equals to 5, then I don't want to print. So there is continue statement. Now what will happen in this case? Let's check. 10. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh shit. I have to do I plus plus as well. That I forgot to do it. I plus plus because if I am writing continue, then it's just move to the next part. So let's do this because I have to execute it. If let me first show you 10. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't print it 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What happened here? If I equals to 5, then it incremented makes I equals to 6 and then continue. Continue means from here, you just move out of this loop. Means continue. Means you don't execute the further statements, just go again again to the conditions. So that's why we use the break and this continue statements. Now go to statements. We don't use the go to statements that much, but also again, let me tell you, go to statements. Let's take a good example from here for go to statements. VFC is also a good platform to check all the details about any doubt you have. So what happened to go to statements? This is an example. Suppose I want to tell you, I have defined two variables. Okay, see, there is a go to statements. Here I have defined even. Even is a statement. Even is a name of the particular state. And when I run even, when I call even, you have to print this and out this. Okay. Now what this go to do? It telling to the when we execute the code, na, it is telling it that go to even means from here you directly jump to the even part. Means execute these lines. Okay. Same here when we are telling go to odd, it is direct from here it is jumping to the this odd part. This is how the go to statement works. So that's it for today. Let's first solve some problems on this. Let's solve a problem to create a calculator. in which do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and all. So let me define one variable int n, which will be telling what I have to do. Before this, okay. Before this, let me define two variables because we have to do addition, subtraction on two variables. So C in A. Do one thing. Okay. So I will be using do while loop because in do while loop I got a preference that it will do my work. So it will execute first, then it will go to the next statements. So let me write C out, choose choose one number. C out one reference to addition. This is what we are telling to C out, two reference to subtraction. C out three addition, subtraction, multiplication. C out for division. Okay, so it will run. Then after it will run, I will be taking an input. C out, enter, enter one number. Okay, now C input and let me define one variable int n. Okay, so this is what I have did. I have taken the input. Okay, now I have to perform addition, subtraction, and all. So let's create a switch statement on edge. Switch statement on and. So what will the case is case and here case. If case is one, what I have to do? I have to take input. Let's define two more variables a and b on which I have to perform addition and subtraction. C input a, b, and C out a plus b. Same way, I will be defining multiple case statements. So case 1, if case is 2, then what I have to do? I have to do subtraction. If case is 3, then I have to do multiplication. If case is 4, I have to do division. Now what if the default case, if none of this, then let's do default. In default case, I will be having a condition variable. Condition variable, I will make it false. Okay, so let's break it. I haven't break it. I hope you recognize my mistake. I haven't break any statements here. So let's break each and every statement. Okay, let me define one variable outside it. Bool type variable which is condition. Initially it will be true. So let's do. Now here will be condition. Let's execute it. Will there is any error? Yeah, there is an error. I have forgot to use semicolons. Again, run it. There is no error. Now let's execute. See, choose one number, one addition to subtraction, three multiplication to division. Let me choose three. Okay. Again, it is asking for two numbers, 10 and 2. Now see, it is printed 20. Again, it executed. Choose one number, addition, subtraction. I am choosing 2. So enter one number, 1, 2. So it's printed -1 for subtraction. I hope it is you are able to solve this problem. So it's good. So thank you for today. From next class, we'll be moving towards the functions and all, recursion function and all. So thank you for today.